concentration. And I'm using earbuds, so the sound should be better and won't pick up that much for the background noise. But still is bound to pick up some of the background noise. Okay, I think we're ready to go. So here we go. Let's make sure that everybody's watching us. This is a little crazy, but anyway, shows we have to be determined. See how it sounds. Okay. Ready to go. Doesn't sound so bad. Okay, here we go. Let's chant a little bit first. And Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Vijana Vallabha Giribharadhari Gopijana Vallabha Giribharadhari Yasodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yasodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Manachari Yamuna Tira Manachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopijana Vallabha Giribharadhari Gopijana Vallabha Giribharadhari Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Manachari Yamuna Tira Manachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Paravakarya Otutara Satashi Shrimad His Divine Grace Abhaya Charanana Bhaktivedanta Goswami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Anandakoti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Friends, say Kaho Shri Krishna Caitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Dvaita Gadadha Shri Vasudeva Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopikapada Shyam Kunda Radhakunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Vrindavanam Ki Jai Machuradam Ki Jai Jagadagoswami Ki Jai Yamunamai Ki Jai Srimati Tulsi Devi Ki Jai Samma Veda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Gaur Premananda Hari Hari Gaur. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Gaur Premananda Hari Hari Gaur. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Namani Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharani Devashesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Dejatarani. So we're going to try our best to do a little bit of reading tonight. It's not too bad. I think everyone can hear me pretty clearly. So Maganat Timirandasha Garanjana Shlakaya Chakshuran Meditam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of my spiritual master, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, who so kindly opened my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge while I was blinded in the darkness of ignorance. So now we'll go on to the Sri Caitanya Caritamrta. Jaya Jaya Sri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Sri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Sri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. We're actually talking about Sanatana Goswami's discussion with Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in which Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is enlightening Sanatana Goswami about the different tattvas and bhavas and expansions of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Yesterday we were talking about the Purusha avatars and the Lila avatars and Guna avatars, and the different avatars of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, let's continue with our reading. So, text 312 in the 20th chapter of Madhya Lila, Sri Caitanya Caritamrta. Shiva Shakti Yukta Shaswat Trilingo Guna Samritaha Karikastajasascha Tamasaschaitjaham Vita. The truth about Lord Shiva is that he is always covered with three material coverings by Karika, Taijasa, Tamasa. Because of these three modes of material nature, he always associates with the external energy and egotism itself. Of course, the external energy we know as Durga. Durga is the wife of Lord Shiva, and the word Durga actually means to move with great difficulty, or as Srila Prabhupada would oftentimes talk about Durga, meaning that she's like the warden of this prison house. And sometimes Srila Prabhupada would mention that Durga, she has a trident, and her trident consists of the threefold miseries of the material existence, that is, Adhyatmic, Adhyatmodic, and Adhidaivic. Miseries from one's body and mind, what are miseries from material energy in general, and material miseries from other living entities. This is a quotation from Srimad Bhagavatam 1088.3. Harirhi nirguna sakshad Purusha prakrite paraha sarvadre gupadarasta. Someone just sent me a message. Well, actually, I should put the messages. Hold on a second. Let me set this up. Sarvadre gupadarasta. Ham vajan nirguna bhavet. Alright. Sri Hari, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is situated beyond the range of material nature. Therefore, he is the Supreme Transcendental Person. He can see everything inside and outside. Therefore, he is the Supreme Overseer of all living entities. If someone takes shelter at his lotus feet and worships him, he also attains a transcendental position. So here, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is juxtaposing Lord Shiva's position with the Supreme Personality of Godhead's position, so we can see the difference. It's a quotation from Srimad Bhagavatam 1088.5. Palanartha swam Shavishnu rupe avatara Satvaguna drashta tate Gunamai Para. For the maintenance of the universe, Lord Krishna descends as his personal plenary expansion in the form of Vishnu. He is the director of the mode of goodness, therefore he is transcendental to the material energy. So of course, Krishna is the director of the Shuddha Sattva. Shuddha Sattva means the pure mode of goodness that is uncontaminated by the other modes of nature. Sarupa Ishvarya Purna Krishna Samapraya Krishna Hamsi Tenhonamsha Vedehena Gaya. Lord Vishnu is in the category of Swamsa because he has opulences almost equal to Krishna's. Krishna is the original person and Lord Vishnu is his personal expansion. This is the verdict of all Vedic literature. So this is a very important term. Swamsa versus the term Vivinamsa. Vivinamsa, that's us. We're part and parcel of Krishna, but we're not of the same category as Krishna. So all the Vishnu Tattva expansions of Krishna are in the category of Swamsa. That means Angsha means expansions, Swa, his own expansions. And we are the separated expansions, Vivinamsha. Let's try to remember that. And we never become Swamsha. We always remain Vivinamsha. We are always the marginal energy, or that is the category that we are situated in. Although an incarnation of the material energy, Lord Brahma is nonetheless the director of the material mode of passion. Similarly, Lord Shiva, although simultaneously one with and different from Lord Krishna, is still the incarnation of the mode of darkness. However, Lord Vishnu is Krishna's personal expansion, that's Swa, his own. Therefore, he is the director of the mode of goodness, and is always transcendently situated beyond the jurisdiction of the modes of material nature. Lord Vishnu is the original personal expansion of Krishna, and Krishna is the original source of all incarnations. As far as power is concerned, Lord Vishnu is as powerful as Lord Krishna because he possesses all the opulences. And that's what we mentioned many times before. Advaita Chuta Anadir Anantarupa Madhyam Pradana Purusham Navayovanam Cha. There's only one God, and he appears in a variety of ways and manifests different aspects of his personality, and he appears in a variety of ways simultaneously in unlimited places, unlimited circumstances, unlimited times, and that's God. Okay, we've explained that point, that tattva, many times, so we don't have to reiterate again. Now here's a verse from the Brahma Samhita, a very important verse from the Brahma Samhita. Diparchireva hidashantaramabhupecha Payate viritaketu samanatarma Yastadregeva hichasishnu tayavivati Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. When the flame of one candle is expanded to another candle and placed in a different position, it burns separately, and its illumination is as powerful as the original candles. Similarly, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Govinda, expands himself in different forms as Vishnu, who is equally luminous, powerful, and opulent. Let me worship that Supreme Personality of Godhead, Govinda. So that's a really important verse, because each and every one of the Vishnu Tattva Swamsa incarnations, expansions of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, are the same person, equally potent. Just manifest a different aspect of that potency. Got it? Just like Prabhupada said, again, I'm making the same example, that a person in the office manifests a different aspect of his personality than a person at home. Person at home is more intimate, person in the office is more official. This is a quotation from the Brahma Samhita, 546. Brahma Shiva Agyatkari Bhakta Avatara Malanarte Vishnu Krishnara Swarupa Akara. The conclusion is that Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva are simply devotee incarnations who carry out orders. However, Lord Vishnu, the maintainer, is the personal feature of Lord Krishna. Srijami Tanni Yuktoham Haro harati tadvashaka Vishwam Purusha Rupena Paripati Tri Shakti Drik. Lord Brahma said, I am engaged by the Supreme Personality of Godhead to create. Following his orders, Lord Shiva dissolves everything. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, in his form the Shiradaksha Vishnu, maintains all the affairs of the material nature. Thus, the supreme controller of the three modes of material nature is Lord Vishnu. Because Lord Vishnu, mode of goodness, Lord Shiva, mode of ignorance, and Lord Brahma, mode of passion. Really, really important. So we should cultivate the mode of goodness. Of course, sometimes we have to create things as part of our service to Krishna. But it's not that we should be in the mode of passion, because when you do things in the mode of passion, ultimately, it's not that successful. And sometimes we see people who are very greedy in the mode of passion. Actually, I can give an example of someone I'm corresponding with today. Not that they're greedy, but they gave me the example of some other devotees who go on the internet, and I'm not going to really get into the details, because, it's just not nice what they're doing. So they go on the internet and then they hear about all these get-rich-quick schemes. How you can double your money in 30 days or less by doing things that are right on the border of legality, or I wouldn't even say they're legal, but are right on the border of ethical. And it's just like this greed for money. And in many cases, when they're so greedy for this money or for opulence or something very easy, then it gets taken away just as easily and it destroys their lives, and they lose more than they actually gamble. There's a mentality of gambling. Getting something from nothing invokes the gambling mentality. Try to remember that. Even if it works, we have Bitcoin and other things like that. Even if it works for you for some time, it destroys your goodness, destroys your whole mentality. So we have to be really, really careful about these things. Just like I was speaking to my brother today about investments. He said, you can invest. Of course, I'm not investing, so don't worry. I invest in Krishna. That's a sure thing. He says when you're investing, you can either invest in high risk, high return, or high loss, or low risk and sure return, or more sure return. And so, we get very greedy, but it actually, he said if you invest in, this is a very interesting thing, if you invest in high risk, he was telling me this, then he said he invested in high risk one time, and he was just like in anxiety all the time. So even though he made some money, had a high rate of return, he was actually in anxiety about, always checking every day, stock going up, or the fund is going up, or is it going down, and just like, so much anxiety. Better to be peaceful and have nothing than to actually be agitated all the time with, whether you're going to lose. So it creates that's the gambling mentality, trying to get something for nothing. And even if you do get something for nothing, as I said, it destroys your life. And it destroys your Krishna consciousness, because your consciousness becomes involved in this greedy mentality. Becomes absorbed in money, money, money. So much money do I have today, so much is my enemy, I've conquered him, etc. like that. Instead of actually being absorbed in cultivating your internal self, Krishna consciousness. We have no problem with money. Money is fine. But to just be focused on it, and then the devotees, they get into these things sometimes. One devotee discovers some scam somewhere, then immediately, he sends it out to all the other devotees, and all the other devotees invest. And I remember in Europe at some time ago, they did this scam. Scam wasn't, it was legal, but they did this thing with Forex, for foreign exchange investments. And practically many devotees mortgaged their apartments, and some of them even lost their apartments. So it's just like this whole greedy mentality. And what to speak of their Krishna consciousness? And then the devotees started fighting with each other after that. It's money is not the point. Like Prabhupada would often say that Krishna is a rich man, or not man, rich person. Krishna's a rich person. He has all the money in the world. He wants you to have something. You're not going to be able to keep him from giving it to you. Like Prabhupada's father would talk about how Krishna has 10 arms, or 10 hands. And if he has 10 hands, if he wants to take everything away, you're going to lose everything. And if he has 10 hands, if he wants to give you everything, you'll get something. So, of course we have to endeavor, but I think we should endeavor in an honest mode of goodness way. Nothing wrong with working a job. Nothing wrong with, investing if you have to invest. But it should be done in an honest mode of goodness, peaceful way. I have another disciple in Germany who invested a lot of money, just money, quick money, and he lost it all. This was years ago, not recently. So I think it's just better not to be real passionate about things. Anyway, be in the mode of goodness. This is a quotation from Srimad Bhagavatam 2.6.32. Lord Brahma gave this information to Devarshi Narada when he was receiving instructions from Lord Brahma to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead Paramatma. Someone asked me a question here about money. If the money is not one's quota acquired from quick schemes or gambling, it runs out and gives miseries to the life or not, one's quota will never be acquired. Anyway, just do things honestly. That's the main thing, whether it's your quota or not. Who wants a bunch of money that's going to put you in anxiety? Money's not that important. We can use it for Krishna. Yeah, we want more of it for Krishna. That's true. But you see these great saints that are just so happy living at Govardhan. Just all they have is a few blankets or something like that. And here we are in complete anxiety about everything. It's just ridiculous. All right. After describing the universal form of the Lord Brahma explains that his position and Lord Shiva's position are controlled by Lord Vishnu. Manvantaravatara Vishuna Sanatana Asankhya Ganana Tanra Shinahakarana. Oh, Sanatan. Not just here about the incarnations associated with the reign of each Manu. Manvantara avatars, they are unlimited and no one can count them. Just hear of their source. Of course, there's 14 Manus in each day of Brahma. Each day of Brahma is a long time. Sahasra Yuga Paryam, 1,000 ages, Divya Yugas taken together. It's a long time. 4,300,000,000 years. Divided that by 14. So Manvanta avatars are like Manu, man, and they just set all the rules for mankind, and they're in charge of each yuga, and there's 14. One day of Lord Brahma. Okay, anyway. Brahmare Kadine Haya Chodavanvantara Chodavatara Tahan Karena Ishvara. In one day of Brahma, there are 14 changes of Manus. And during the reign of each of these 14 Manus, an incarnation is manifested by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Generally, Sorry about that. That was an internet glitch, not my fault. So let's continue. Let me just make sure everything is. Okay, let's continue, and I'll go back to sharing the screen. That happens sometimes. So thank you for waiting. Wait a second. So that's two. Okay. So we'll start again. From this verse, if you calculate that in 1 month, 30 days of Brahma's life, there are 420 Manvantara avatars in 1 year, 306 days of his life. There are 5,040 Manvantara incarnations. Thus, for 100 years of Brahma's life, there's a total of 504,000 Manvantara avatars. In addition, the Manus themselves are considered partial incarnations of the Supreme Personality Godhead. Okay, I don't suggest becoming a Manu. Enough trouble broadcasting from the airport with the speak of becoming a Manu. Anyway, so let's continue. Next verse. Choda ekadine mase chari shata visha ramaravatsare pancha sahasra chalisa. There are 14 Manvantara avatars in 1 day of Brahma, 420, and in 1 month and 5,040 in 1 year. We heard about that. Chatika Vatsarahaya, Jivana Parmara, Panchalaksha, Chari Sahasra, Manvantara Avatara. During the 100 years of Brahma's life, there are 504,000 Manvantara avatars.
At United, safety is just as important on the ground as it is in the air. So we need your help to make sure we all stay
Ananta
safe
Brahmande Aiche Karahaganana Mahavishnu Ekaswashe Brahmara Jivaka. The number of Manvantara avatars for only one universe has been given. One can only imagine how many Manvantara avatars exist in the innumerable universes. And all these universes in Brahmas exist only during one exhalation of Mahavishnu. Mahavishnura Nishvasera Nahika Parahanta Eka Manvantara Vatarera Dekaranta. There's no limit to the exhalations of Mahavishnu. Just see how impossible it is to speak or write of only the Manvantara avatars. That actually gives us some perspective how insignificant this one lifetime is, how insignificant we are, how unimportant we are. And we're just thinking, this is so important. All the politics and the vaccinations and what else? Viruses and our families and our disciples and me. So important. But you look at it in this perspective, it's just like insignificant. All the things that we consider to be insignificant, except for Krishna consciousness, are in fact insignificant. Swayambhuve yajna swarish swarochise vibhunama autame satyasena tamase hari avidana. In the Swayambhuva Manvantara, the avatar is named Yajna. In the Swarocha Manvantara, he is named Vibhu. In the Ottama Manvantara, he is named Satyasena. And in the Tamasa Manvantara, he is named Uri. Raivate Vagunta Chakshushe Ajita Vaivate Vamana Sarvange Sarvabhoma Daksha Savange Vrishabhaganana. In the Raivata Manvantara, the Avatara is named Vaikuntha, and the Chakshusha Manvantara, he is named Ajita. In the Vaivasvata Manvantara, he is named Vamana. And in the Saravanya Manvantara, he is named Sarvabhauma. In the Daksha Sarvanya Manvantara, he is named Rishabha. Brahma Sarvanye Vivakshena Dhamaksetu Dhamaksavarne Vivasavarne Shudamas Yogeshwara Eva Savarne. In the Brahma Samvarnya Manvantara, the avatar is named Vishvakshena, and the Dharma Savarnya he is called the Brahma Savarnya. The Dharma Savarnya is named Dharma Shetu, and the Ruda Samvarnya is named Shudama, and in the Deva Savarnya is named Yogeshwara. Don't worry, you don't have to remember any of these names. You're not going to be tested. You're not so picky, uni. Indra Savarnya Brihadvanu Abhidana Ichoda Manvantara Choda Avatara Nama. In the Indra Savarnya Manvantara, the avatar is named Brihadvanu. These are the names of the 14 avatars and the 14 Manvantaras. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur in his Anubhashya gives a list of manas and their father's names. Swayambhuva Manu, the son of Lord Brahma, Swaroshisha, the son of Swaroshish, or Agni, the Pranamadevi of fire, Uttama, the son of King Priyavrata, Tamasa, the brother of Uttama, Vaivata, the twin brother of Tamasa, Chachusha, the son of the demigod Chakshus, Vaivasvata, the son of Vivaswan, the sun god whose name is mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita, 4:1. Savarani, a son born to the sun god and his wife Chaya. Daksha Savarani, the son of the demigod Varuna. Brahma Savarani, the son of Upashloka. 11-14. Rudra Savarani, Dhamma Savarani, Deva Savarani, and Indra Savarani, the sons of Rudra, Ruchi, such as Saha and Ruchi, respectively. Don't worry. So remember any of these things. Yuga Avatare Vashuna Sanatana Sachatreta Dwarapara Kali Yuga Raganana. Oh, Sanatana. Okay, getting to more interesting avatars now. Now hear from me about the Yuga avatars, the incarnations for the millenniums. First of all, there are 4 yugas: Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, and Kali Yuga. Satya Yuga is the good yuga, where just about everybody is really a good guy. And the meditational process is the process for self-realization, Treta Yuga. The process of self-realization, optimal sacrifices. Dwapara Yuga gets a little worse. Process of self-realization is temple worship. And Kali Yuga, the process of self-realization, you probably don't remember, it's Krishna Nam Sankirtan. That's all there is in Kali Yuga. Kali Kalera Dharma, Krishna Nama Sankirtan, Krishna Shakti Vanada, Varya Pravartana, Ekon Dharma. There's one Dharma in this Kali Yuga, and that is Krishna Nam Sankirtan. Everything else you do is meant to support that. Remember that. Everything else you do. And if you do everything else perfectly, you don't do Krishnam Sankirtan, you're in trouble. Shuplorata Krishna Pita Krame Charivarna Hari Krishna Karena Yuga Dharma. In the 4 yugas, Satya, Treta, Dwapara, and Kali, the Lord incarnates in 4 colors: white, red, black, and yellow, respectively. These are the colors of the incarnations in different millenniums: white, red, black, and yellow. Asadvarnastrayo yasya vinnato nu yugam tanahu shukloratastata pita hidanim krishnatam gataha. This child formerly had 3 colors according to the prescribed color for different millenniums. Formerly it was white, red, and yellow, and now he is assumed a blackish color. This, of course, is Gargamuni, who was doing the name-giving ceremony for Krishna when he appeared. Same Krishna in different yugas had different colors. Now he's blackish. This verse is from the Bhagavatam 8:10-8:13, and was spoken by Gargamuni when performing the name-giving ceremony for Krishna at the house of Nanda Maharaj. The following two verses are also from Srimad Bhagavatam 11:5, 21 to 24 and 22. Prate Shuklas Chaturvahur Jatilo Valka Lambaraha Krishna Jiro Bhavitachan Vibradanda Kamandalu. In Satya Yuga, the Lord appeared in a body colored white with four arms and matted hair. He wore tree bark and bore a black antelope skin. He wore a sacred thread and garland of rudraksha beads. He carried a rod and a water pot, and he was a brahmachari. Treta Yuga. Treta Varnosel Chaturbahu Sri Kalaha Ranikesha Trayatma Shrukshuva Yupa Lakshanaha. In Treta Yuga, the Lord appeared in a body and had a reddish hue and four arms. There were three distinctive lines on his abdomen, and his hair was golden. His form manifested the Vedic knowledge, and he bore the symbols of the sacrificial spoon, ladle, and so on. So he's doing sacrifices. Satya Yuga Dharmatyana Karaya Shukla Murti Dari Kadharma Kevara Yilaknyeno Kripa Kari. As the white incarnation of the Lord taught religion and meditation, he offered benedictions to Cardama Muni. And in this way, he showed his closest mercy. Cardama Muni was one of the Japanese, he married Devahuti, daughter Manu, and their son was Kapila Deva. The Supreme Lord was very pleased with Cardama Muni's austerities, and he appeared before Cardama Muni in a whitish body. This happened in the Satya Yuga millennium when people were accustomed to practicing meditation. Of course, the way people practice meditation now is insane. There's nothing to do with real meditation. Krishna Jnana Kare Loka Yana Rikara Kari Chaitara Dharma Yajna Karaya Raktavarna Dare. In Satya Yuga, the people were generally advanced in spiritual knowledge and could meditate upon Krishna very easily. The people's occupational duty in Treta Yuga was to perform great sacrifices. Like before, this was induced by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, his reddish incarnation. Krishna Padara Chanahaya Dwapare Dharma Krishna Varne Karaya Lokai Krishna Rachana Karma. In Dwarpa Yuga, the people's occupational duty was to worship the lotus feet of Krishna. Therefore, Lord Krishna appeared in a blackish body, personally induced people, appearing in a blackish body, personally induced people to worship him. Varpare Bhagavan Shama Pitavasa Nijayudaha Shivatsa Liberhan Kaisha Lakshana Upalakshitaha. In Dwarpa Yuga, the personality of Godhead appears in a blackish hue. He is addressed in yellow, that's Krishna, of course. In yellow, holds his own weapons, and he is marked with the Kastubha jewel and the mark of Shivatsa. That is how his symptoms are described. And of course, there's a quotation from Bhagavatam 11:5-27. The Shama color is not exactly blackish, it's like blackish blue. Shrada Saraswati Thakur compares it to the color of the Atasi flower. It is not the Lord Krishna himself who appears in a blackish color in all the Dwarpa Yugas. In other Dwarpa Yugas, previous to Lord Krishna's appearance, the Supreme Lord appeared in a greenish body by his own personal expansion. This is mentioned in the Vishnu Purana, Purivamsha, and in the Mahabharata.
Untitled Chapter, this Thursday, your final morning announcement for flight 750 with service to Fort Lauderdale.
This will be the
Please
next
report to
verse.
gate 80 to board your aircraft, or be closing shortly. Once again,
Namaste
final warning on flight 750 with
Vasudevaya
service to Fort
Nama
Lauderdale.
Sankara
Please report to
Shanaya
gate
Cha
80 to board your aircraft, or be closing shortly.
Rajuna Yani Hudaya Tuvyam Bhagavate Namaha. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the Supreme Personality, Godhead expanded as Vasudev, Sankarshan, Prajuna. These becomes the Chatu Viewer expansions. Vasudev, Sankarshan, Prajuna. Of course, in different incarnations, you have Krishna, Balaram, Arjuna, and Aniruddha. In Lord Ram's pastimes, you have Ram, Lakshman, Bharat, and Shatrughna. So these quadruple expansions are there practically every time the Lord appears. This is a prayer spoken from Srimad Bhagavatam 11.5.29, spoken by Caitanya Muni when he was questioned by Maharaj Nimi, the king of Videha, about the incarnations in a specific yuga and their method of worship. Caitanya Muni was one of the 9 Yogendras, and he met the king to inform him about future incarnations. Emantre Dwapare Kare Krishna Archana Krishna Nama Sankirtan Kali Yuga Dharma. This is the one I like. By this mantra, people worship Lord Krishna in Dwarf Yuga. In Kali Yuga, the occupational duty of the people is to chant congregationally the holy name of Krishna. That's it. As stated in Srimad Bhagavatam 12.3.5. 12.15. Once again, we need that Paler dosha nidai vajan asjeko mahadgana kirtana deva kristasya bhaktisanga param bhajet. My dear king, although Kali Yuga is full of faults, there is still one good quality about this age. It is that simply by chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, one can be free from material bondage and thus promoted to the transcendental kingdom. Thus in Kali Yuga, one worships Lord Krishna by chanting what's Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. To propagate this movement, Lord Krishna personally appeared as Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu. That is described in the following verse. So we'll get to start with that tomorrow. So we did 3:12 to 3:39 today. Nice. I don't think I get that far in this crowded airport. It's really crowded here. I'll just show you. And then we'll get at that question. We'll show how crowded it is. It's really crowded. First, I'll stop sharing. This is, yeah, I really didn't think I could be able to get this far. This is how crowded the airport is. I'm sitting in the corner just trying to. I live with Krishna consciousness. It's really packed solid here. People. Of course, everyone's wearing a mask. So, does anyone have any questions? Yeah, it's nice to preach in an airport. Keeps me busy waiting for the airplane. All right, who has a question? Comment?
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Maharaj, Dandavat Pranam.
Madhya. Yeah, I can see it.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, so in these descriptions, I know Lord Ram is not mentioned here, what we read today, but he was one of the Treta Yugas, right?
Yes, Ram was in the Treta Yuga.
Because there are many Treta, many Kal Yuga, many of these 4 yugas have come and gone.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So, but Lord Ram appeared in Treta Yuga, and that's
Thank
true.
you.
He was green, like the Darba grass. It's described in the Srimad Bhagavatam, like beautiful Darba grass. All right. Thank you, Madhya. Here's one from Nalini Kant. So in the night of Brahma, there are no incarnations. Oh. Because all the lower planetary systems, they get destroyed. But you don't have any like Lila avatars, good avatars. You have in the higher planetary systems, there might be some avatars of Krishna there, but none that are being described here. Another one, do the Manus create all species of life on Earth? Not necessarily. It's not just the mothers. The mothers are the fathers of mankind. So the species of life are created by people like Daksha and others, Vinata, Kadru. It doesn't mention that they all come from Mana. It's not mentioned that all the species of life come from Mana. I never heard that. Okay, who else wants to ask a question? Sumo, you have a question. Unmute yourself. Can't hear you. You are muted.
Hare Krishna, Gurudev.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay. Gurudev, I have one small question. Regarding the class, you said Brahma has so many lifetime, long period of lifetime. So
Right?
the question is, he's a pure devotee of Krishna, and he's also a
Yes.
Jiva Tattva.
Yes.
So if the life is so long, and what happens if he falls down? He will remain in this position, or is it
Well, first of all, pure devotees don't fall down. That's the first point you should understand.
Okay.
Second of all, in some universes, Lord Brahma is not a pure devotee. He's the greatest karmi, he's the greatest jnani, and then he may fall down in some universes. But in our universe, we are very fortunate. We have Lord Brahma, who is an absolutely pure devotee. And I don't worry about it. Even though he has a long lifetime, he's not going to fall down during that long lifetime. He's absorbed. And this long lifetime he experiences is like our 100 years. He experiences his 100 years. And also, in every day, he gets to see all these cool incarnations. I mean, that's the advantage of being Lord Brahma, but you don't have to go to the movies. If you just see, like, in every yuga, you got like 1,000 Divi yugas in each day. So, in other words, you got the Yuga avatars. Okay, you got 4,000 Yuga avatars in each day of Lord Brahma. Think about it. Sahasra Yuga Pariyantam. 1,000 Divi Yugas. Divi Yugas means the collection of all four of them. 1,000 Divi Yugas in each day. And each of those Divi Yugas has four different yugas within it. The Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, and Kali Yuga. And each and every one of those, there's an incarnation of Krishna. And also you have other incarnations, other Lila avatars, and all sorts of other cool incarnations. It wouldn't be such a bad thing to be Lord Brahma because you get to see incarnations every day. Thousands of incarnations every day, so it's not a bad job. Anyway, I don't want the job. He falls down. Non-devotee Brahma. I don't know what happens when you have a non-devotee Brahma. I never heard. I mean, Lord Brahma may be the greatest karmi or jnani. He's still a devotee, but he may not be a pure devotee in other universes. And I have no idea about what happens in other universes. Just don't remember. It's not important. Here we are. We are here in this universe, and that's all we got to worry about. I don't worry about other universes, what happens. All right. So, who else has a question? Anyone else have a question? No. Oh, here's another question. Hare Krishna Gurudev. Really appreciate narrations and insights. Which was the avatar discussed today? Samana avatar? I don't remember. You just have to look it up. That Samana, had something to do with the Manvantara, one of the names of the Manvantara avatar, which I don't remember all those names. Yeah, Gopakumar became Brahmaji for some time. I don't think he lasted a whole lifetime with Lord Brahma. I think he just filled in when Lord Brahma touched some foam and a demon appeared and he had to run away. And so, he had a period of time as Lord Brahma, but he didn't have to become Lord Brahma for a whole lifetime with Lord Brahma. So, but, it's not such a bad idea when you see all these different incarnations every day. Can jivas take birth in different universes? No, they could take birth in different universes. Yeah, you could go Brahmanda, Brahmate, Manda Bhagavan. You could wander in this universe or wander in other universes. Who wants to? I just want to serve Prabhupada in whatever universe Prabhupada's in. Jiva. I'm a Jiva, and I would like to Jiva serve Prabhupada in whatever universe Prabhupada's in. That'd be cool. My connection is with Prabhupada, and anyway, that's what I hope to do. Okay, I think we're going to end now. I think that's enough austerity in the airport with a mask on. And actually, we made it almost to the end. That's pretty cool. I'm proud of myself. So, so anyway, I'll be back in New. Oh yeah, here's the announcement. Back in New Galoka tonight, and tomorrow at the same time we normally have a class. There's going to be a class, actually giving a class about mothers, and specifically about my mother who passed away some time ago. And so we're going to be speaking. Anyway, it'll be a memorial service, but I'm going to make it a general talk about mothers, not like you brahmacharis call the ladies mothers. But, the nice things about mothers, because we're all indebted to mothers. All of our characters have been shaped, if you're fortunate enough to have a good mother, by good mothers. So that's what we're going to be speaking about tomorrow. So anyway, we're going to end now. I have to go to my gate pretty soon, and hopefully someone will pick me up when I arrive at Charlie Durham. I think Gopal, who's online, will pick me up. I'm sure he will. And we'll see everybody tomorrow. Okay, thank you all for joining us. All